Hello, Onyx Path. How's it going? Good. This is good to see you here for the first time. Sorry, I'm laughing about the Sugar Plum remix we had on just a second ago because it's so bad. I love it. So hey everybody, welcome. I'm Kelly and I'm the storyteller over at Dork Tales, twitch.tv Dork Tales or youtube.com/Dork Tales. And it's great to have you here for session 0 of Scion, Heroes for the Holidays. How are you guys feeling today?
Feeling good.
Pretty good.
Not too bad.
Right.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
This is going to be a fun little chat session where you get to know us, you get to know the characters that are going to be coming, and you kind of get a sense of what the plot is going to be as we kind of roll into our little 5-episode mini arc. So this is the first time that any of us have played Scion 2nd edition. So if you're Scion fans, please be gentle. We haven't really touched it since 1st edition.
And even then,
like it came out when a lot of us were in college, and we loved it. And we made like 50 characters, and then I think we ran like one game. But
it
God,
was ticks. It was the ticks movement system in combat. It
was cute. If you had a hero click, it would have been
rough.
Great.
Yeah, it was cute, but it was rough.
So I think probably is the best idea to go ahead and introduce ourselves. So my name's Kelly. I'm the storyteller over at Dork Tales, like I said. I am also a writer, sometimes a professor of creative writing. I'm an author of several things over on the Storyteller's Vault involving Vampire the Requiem, and a huge fan of Onyx Path, White Wolf, and most interactive storytelling. I'm also an Aquarius, and like the rest of us, I live in the Pacific Northwest and am enjoying the rainy weather. So that's me. I'm really excited to play this game and to run this game because I love mythology. I actually have a degree in Greek and Roman mythology and history. Yay! It's finally coming in handy. Jen, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Here's hoping it pays for itself tonight.
Yeah, it will. It totally will. like and subscribe and smash that bell. And we're really excited to be here on Onyx Path. A big thanks to the Onyx Path team for having us. So I'm going to pass the ball over to Christine.
Hi. So I'm Christine, as you just heard. And yeah, this is really exciting. Maybe this will kind of involve my degree too. I'm a history and anthropology major, and yeah, I've been doing these sort of games for I guess about 6 years.
Nice. Oh yeah, since I dragged you into a LARP.
Yeah, since I got pulled into a LARP and shoved in a room with no idea what I was supposed to do.
It was a Mage the Ascension LARP too, so hey, even better.
But no, this should be a lot of fun. I've actually never played or built for Scion before. Well, that's not true. Technically, we did build, but
we did build for the Ragnarok Cats, but that didn't happen.
And we never played it, so
maybe next time.
We didn't have time. But I have played a lot of Werewolf and Mage, and I quite enjoy it. And in fact, you can check that out by going to our Twitch, where we do play Werewolf and stuff. And you can see me there, because I play in almost all the Dork Tales stuff. Right. Should we also introduce our characters?
We'll do another round of that.
Okay.
All right,
I should just keep going.
Let's go ahead and pass it over to James in the corner.
All right. Hello, Onyx Path, and everyone on the Twitch channel here. I'm James. By trade, my degree is definitely not going to be applicable here, or at least as long as something doesn't go terribly, terribly wrong. I'm a computer scientist. I'm a computer scientist and an educator by trade. So I teach things like 3D modeling and computer programming and stuff like that. In terms of gaming, I've been around I've been gaming for a very long time. And actually, Kelly here was the one who got me into all the kind of World of Darkness, Onyx Path kind of stuff in university.
Get us all into it.
I do what I can.
Yeah, it's all Kelly's fault.
I'm a cult leader. It's fine. It's fine.
And it was a LARP too, so this may be a growing trend.
It was also a Mage LARP. You're right. No,
it wasn't Mage. It was Vampire. It was the Sabat game.
Yeah, that game. The one with the crocodiles. Alligators?
I don't know if it's crocodiles. I remember Dale bursting into flame and everyone standing around.
I remember that one.
Dale burst into flames a lot. I was like the one who just
pulled out my gun and started being like, why are we not shooting this guy? Ba-bam.
That was my first LARP too.
Was that your first LARP? Really?
That was my first LARP. It wasn't my first game, but it was
I remember
my
that
first LARP.
someone was playing a city gang girl from Louisiana, and they turned into an alligator at one point, and I think they ate Dale's remains.
Probably. That sounds about right.
I think it was his sister, actually. But anyway, let's keep going.
Anyway, that's me. Yeah, I think that covers it. This is going to be my first time kind of building and playing Scion. I've done a lot of other World of Darkness games, but this will be the first time this one. So, should be fun.
Sounds good. So let's pass down to Jen.
Hey, I'm Jen, and again, Kelly got me into gaming several years ago. I say several, like it, wasn't more than that.
It's like 2. It's fine.
It's like 2, right?
it's a number of years. 2 is a number.
Yeah.
It's the power of a 2.
My first game, I think, was I think I played in a couple of random D&D games, but my first World of Darkness game, which made me fall in love with the systems, was Old World Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Where my character did some terrible damage and then died a horrible death. It was a great one-shot.
That's Hunter.
Right?
You're a grenade with the pin pulled. Go have fun.
Yeah. But yeah, and I'm in the Dork Tales werewolf game that's actually going to be on this Sunday. Busy weekend for us.
Yep.
And just kind of in my regular life, I'm a library technician. I do a lot of research and looking for books and information. And I'm also a member of the Society for Creative Anachronism, which, big history buff here. And I'm hoping to, use that Greek and Roman studies degree for good and not evil.
Well, your library, always use it for evil, but your library tech degree has been really good going through the Scion books and finding all the little rules that they've updated. That
so much cross-referencing.
There is a lot of stuff in these books. Like, I have a feeling that these books are very front-heavy, and that in play, they are going to run swimmingly.
Yes.
But I feel like that there's a little bit of an entrance.
Yeah, part of what I found, at least reading through, is it's so similar to most of the World of Darkness stuff that we're used to, with tiny changes that's going to throw us for a bit of a loop.
Yeah, so please be gentle with us if you're watching.
Yeah. And I actually did run a Scion first edition game once. It was a one-shot at one of the cons.
Was I in that one? Because I was playing a radio talk show sex therapist who was the child of...
Probably.
Laszlo Teodor, I think. Yeah, anyway. He was nice. Yeah, I actually wrote some short fiction about him. It's good.
Nice. Yeah, so I ran it once, and yeah, the combat system was what made me not want to play it.
But they've gotten rid of that now, so this looks...
They have. It's great. They streamlined it. It's fantastic.
Nice. And then finally, let's pass it over to my boy Mike.
Hey guys, super stoked to be here with Onyx Path. My name is Mike. I've been in the Dork Tales channel for quite a number of years now. Kelly got me into gaming like 7 years ago when he threw me into a LARP and said, "Here, act." And it was great, and it's awesome, and it took me to where I am now. I am the guy who always has autofocus issues with my webcam, so I'm always holding up a book to refocus myself. It's all right. We get through it.
And you're not an actual cat.
And I'm not an actual cat. I don't play a
tabaxi
in any game.
Some people on YouTube have been confused.
Yeah, I don't play a tabaxi in any game. My headset just has ears because I like headsets with ears. Also, curiously attached to my headset, this is head tracking software, hardware. So that's just there. But my daily life, I run an auto detailing shop, and I'm a pilot. So my education has zero impact on this game.
That's not true. You guys might.
How to detail a car.
Dude, we are starting in an airport.
That's true. But
like you are incredibly relevant.
But my character has no skills in flying a plane. Not
until you use your legend.
Ooh.
Yeah, just steal a plane. You wouldn't download a plane. You would if you were a Scion of... Which one are you a Scion of? Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyways, that's me. Again, super stoked to be here. Yeah.
All right, so Heroes for the Holidays is going to be an adventure that I'm going to take you on that is going to cover... Basically, it's a road trip adventure through the mythic the mythic, I was going to say Midwest, but basically mythic America, like the Eastern Seaboard. I'm not going to spoil any of the details for you. You're going to spend a lot of time in the South and like kind of up into like Pennsylvania, New York area, that entire swath right through there. I'm inspired by a bunch of stuff in this one. And basically this short chronicle is going to be a cross between a couple of things I want you to use as touchstones. One is kind of the old Bing Crosby, kind of like the traveling movies. You know, like any of the Christmas romps, like I know this isn't his, but like I'll Be Home for Christmas or anything like that. So if you've seen the movie Dutch with Ed O'Neill, this is my touchstone, but no one besides me has seen that, so I didn't want to use it. It's also mixed with kind of a little touch of supernatural for the road trip serialization and a big dash of Hercules: The Legendary Adventures. So my goal is to make this story very vibrant, very high octane, give it a lot of humor and a dash of kind of like that American Gods vibe without making it overly dark. I'm going to save most of my darkness for like my World of Darkness games back on my channel. For this, I want this to be kind of like a Christmas epic. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time and don't know what Scion is, I just realized I should probably tell you. So, Scion is a game that Onyx Path put out that is about a world just like ours. I know you've never heard that before, but it's a world where the gods of mythology actually exist. Not only that, but Zeus actually has, you know, a couple thousand paternity suits pending in legal court. You know, he has so many child support payments. I'm not going to make the joke. I'll make it later. Or maybe, you know, Loki has opened a series of casinos, or the Egyptian gods have, you know, resurrected ancient pharaohs to, I don't know, do stuff. I don't know, but basically the ancient pharaoh things. I was thinking something about pharaoh tax evasion, but like it wasn't spinning out into what I wanted to. But the basic
hashtag just pharaoh things.
Hashtag just pharaoh things. You know, it's different than just pharaoh things. That's it. Okay, I'm writing that down for the future. But basically, it's a world where mythology is actually real, and you are playing characters who are the descendants of the gods. You're just at that place where you've been visited by your parent and told, hey, guess what? You're a god. Or at least, you know, you're on the training wheels to becoming a demigod, and maybe, if you work well enough, a god.
So each training montage from Hercules.
Exactly, right? You're Hercules at the beginning of the Disney Hercules movie. Yeah, you're teenage Hercules, basically. Okay. So your characters are pretty new, this whole thing. They're still treated like a bit of a celebrity. In fact, I bookmarked the page that says how many Instagram followers you probably have. So, and the idea is that people believe in mythology. Now, this is a Christmas/holiday story, so we are going to have to reconcile the fact that like Christmas and like the holiday season still exists. We are leading harder into Yule than we are into Christmas, and we're kind of glossing over a lot of it to make it a little more accessible and a little more thematic to this story. The basic purpose of Scion is that you're playing this person who's endowed with the powers of the divine, and are put on the road to do epic things, literally epic things, for your divine parent. Because if they get tied up in mortal affairs too much, they end up getting caught up in something called legend binding or fate binding. Which means that their destiny is kind of locked. Think Ragnarok, think any prophecy. If gods don't touch Earth, they don't get prophesied. So they send their kids to do it so they can get prophesied. Mm-hmm. It's the smart way to be a god. So you're going to be confronting things called Titan Spawn. Titan Spawn are basically the bad guys. They're creatures created by divine beings that don't really have a set personality. So like the Titan of wind, the Titan of air, frost giants. I mean, once again, we're going to the Hercules Disney movie and all of those Titans, or their spawn, which are wreaking havoc behind the curtain around the world. So you'll be fighting some of those. I've got some great set pieces. And this is going to be a really fun game. I'm excited about it. And if you're in the chat right now, go ahead, ask me anything that you want to know about like the plot that's not going to be a spoiler or kind of anything about the world. I'm happy to answer it. But while I'm saying that, players, do you have any questions that you want to ask to try to like get a sense before we start talking about your characters?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? That's great.
This is my first time ever doing anything
Yeah.
Scion related, so I'm super new to the whole thing anyways.
Well, and Mike, you said that you were really excited to play this because you actually get to play someone who like represents your heritage too, right? Because you're playing...
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're Algonquin, right?
I'm Ojibwe.
Ojibwe, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm actually playing an Ojibwe character, which is kind of neat.
That is kind of neat. Well, why don't
Yeah,
do you want to
cool.
start? Do you want to tell me about your character and how to pronounce his name, because someone mispronounced it for me once and it's stuck in my head because
All right.
it was
So it is
Brock, of course.
It is actually pronounced Ogimaa.
Ogimaa.
Gagner.
See, I had a friend pronounce it Gagner once because that's what happens when you roll up the rim on Tim Hortons cups. Where most of us are Canadian, and it's hey, did you Gagner?
Yeah, you Gagnered.
So it's Gagner, right?
Gagner, yeah.
Like Gagner West.
Yeah, like Gagner West.
Okay, good. That's the...
and so he is an Ojibwe, on the American side of the border. Of course, my people don't really recognize the border anyways because we're just Ojibwe. But he's basically a character. He grew up in a pretty bad reservation, and got into casino industry, and now kind of runs an organized crime syndicate out of a native casino.
Okay. And who's your parent?
Right,
who's your daddy? And what does he do?
My daddy, he's a not a very good trickster god. Tawaskara. He is the evil or the bad of the twinborns there. I can't actually pronounce the good one's name. I don't want to butcher it, but yeah, my daddy.
It's like Yosheka.
Yeah.
Yoskeha.
Like
yeah.
And so yeah, Tawashkara is he's the troublemaker. Kind of like the native Loki. And so throughout these games, of course, the usual way for Americans to refer to First Nations or Aboriginal people is in the American Indian. Me being Canadian, I tend to prefer First Nations or Native. So even though Indian in this sense would be a correct way to say it, I'm still going to be referring to him as either First Nations or Native instead. So.
Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and just make a decision to do that then?
Yeah.
I mean,
fantastic.
I'd probably default to that anyways because that's how I grew up.
Yeah,
Same.
exactly.
Canadian.
Like being that we're all Canadian, you don't really, you only really hear the.
Except for that one exception up top.
I'm an American expat, but it's actually a really interesting thing because, like, Mike, you and I've had discussions. You're I think, you're a significant portion more Indigenous than I am. I'm like an 8th or a 16th, depending on who you ask.
About 50%.
Yeah. So like I'm like a tiny sliver, but I've had some and I don't look at it all, but I've had some very interesting conversations being a scholar, right, and talking about like Indigenous history and having Canadians try to argue like, oh yeah, First Nations of Canada. I'm like, we're talking about the Cherokee, bro. Like that's not right. That's not the First Nations. Like they like. Go read from the 1970s. Read Redskin White Mask, I think it was. Like read this stuff. Like go educate.
Exactly. So yeah, like with my character, he's and me, I'm Ojibwe. Predominantly on the Canadian side of the board of on northern Lake Superior, but they do extend down into Michigan, into the southwestern portion of Lake Superior as well. And so it kind of going on the fact that my character's kind of from Chicago.
which is very fortunate because that's actually where the game is going to be starting.
Exactly.
Cool. And is there anything else cool about your character you want to talk about? What are you thinking about for your outfit? You gonna get like a cool necklace or a hat or something?
I'm just gonna go with a suit.
Okay, cool. Wait, weren't you gonna have a tomahawk as your character? Didn't you have like a tomahawk as a weapon, or was that your gun?
I do have a tomahawk.
Don't you have a tomahawk in real life?
It broke.
Oh, okay.
It broke.
I wasn't being stereotypical. Mike has actually
Yeah.
brandished his tomahawk a number of times on stream.
Yeah, exactly. I do have a tomahawk. Last time I was out camping, we were throwing it, and the blade came off the handle.
Oh, that sucks.
And I haven't gotten around to buying a new one yet. So for now, I'm tomahawkless. I'm hoping to change that soon. But so my character uses a tomahawk for close range, and he also uses a rather large caliber rifle for long range ballistics.
That's a spirit rifle, right?
Spirit rifle that he calls the Spirit Savage because it's a Savage Arms rifle.
Nice. Of course. God damn it.
Exactly. And
This is a game of puns, right?
This is a game of...
Pretty
Oh
much.
my god.
Right.
Guys, I made sure that all of the player characters had punny names. If you couldn't tell, when you get who their god is, like literally Mike's name means winner.
Yep. And the other funny thing about my character's main rifle is it's also a hammer space rifle, and so he kind of just pulls it out of his pocket.
Oh, you've got
Which-
the collapsible one?
It's an actual knack, or something. It's attached to the rifle, and yeah, it's hammer space basically.
Oh, that's cool.
It's hilarious. He's just like, yo, what up? Chest pocket rifle. Hi guys.
Someone frisks you. What, you got nothing, huh? Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay, so who wants to go next and talk about their character?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm playing Machiko Ventura, which her daddy is Bishamon of the Japanese pantheon. I actually had that page up.
Yeah, Bishamon, my favorite Digimon.
So God of Fortune in battle is a defender of laws of the Buddha and one of the seven fortunes.
And your first name literally means fortunate child, so...
Yes, it does. And then Ventura, adventure, essentially, right? Yeah, so his purviews are, for the book at least, are epic dexterity, fortune, prosperity, and war.
Is he a monkey
So
god?
I
seem to
they
remember...
don't actually really give an image of him.
I seem to remember... But anyway, sorry for interrupting. Please keep going.
They're all in human form regardless, so I do not know actually if his image
I thought he had something to do with animal monkey, but I think that might be a different guy. Sorry for interrupting.
potentially. So Machiko is half quarter Japanese, to give a reason for why that pantheon is what I'm using. So I think I was thinking it would come through her mother's side and her father would be American. But she is a member of the American Armed Forces.
Oh, so Bishamon's your grandpa.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, godly daddy, but not direct daddy.
So you're kind of like, you were kind of like double adopted, right? Or something like that. Because like Scions can do that, like virginal gods can adopt and like totally steal. So we'll find out about that in a minute. That's cool.
Yes. So I am not American. So please keep that in mind when I play a character that is supposedly part of, I think I picked Marines. And
Yeah, you're an enlisted Marine.
Sort of thing. I don't really know the American system of armed forces. I barely know the Canadian.
I can help you with some of that too, by the way.
For the most part, what we're doing is that for this adventure, she is on leave.
Yeah.
So it's not really going to come in too much, besides the fact that I basically made an ass-kicking character. So,
yeah. And you'll be able to use the
is my favorite
USO
thing to
inside
do,
of the
ever.
inside of the airport to get coffee and sleep on a bed, which is great.
And I got swords.
Yeah.
I got a sword. I also have a gun.
And you also have a dog.
I am double duty. And I have a dog, which I believe I was taking the name Yuki, which also means fortunate.
Yep, and Snow. So Yuki, the Japanese Mastiff?
From what I was looking up. Yes. My creature is in the form of a Japanese Mastiff. And yes, Yuki meaning good fortune.
Okay, and is this a
According to the
military dog,
website
or is
I
this just a
took
dog that you were given by your grandpa?
I think this would just be a dog that I have that I probably trained very, very well in more military style, because that's what I'd be used to.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember when you built this, you wanted to do some John Wick 3 stuff with your dog.
Yes, because that is awesome.
You wanted to have the dog doing flips and throwing ninja stars and stuff.
Very kick-ass, and it was great. So I took a 3-dot creature as one of my birthrights. So that means it has modest powers such as a hellhound, which I am looking forward to.
Okay, so there's your heckhound. Is there anything else about your character that's particularly cool that you want to mention? Any of your powers? Anything that you want to do as the character?
I want to just kick ass, honestly.
Okay, so you're playing your kick ass.
I like doing that. I like doing cool kick ass stuff. I want to do something cool with the dog and the sword, because the sword is a relic. So I just took one of the ones from the book. I did not go into actually.
Oh, did you take the Kusanagi? The grass cutting sword?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool legend behind that, which I never would know without anime. All right, cool. All right, so who wants to go next? Who wants to talk about their character?
You or me, Jen?
Yeah. I can do it. Yeah, sure.
Do it.
Since we were talking about adopted scions and all that, I'm going to be playing Phoebe White, who is the adopted scion of Artemis, leaning real hard into that Greek and Roman studies degree. But because of Artemis being celibate and all of that, she adopts her scions generally rather than actually birthing them. So basically, Phoebe was she was a medical student who, after graduation, ended up doing a lot of fighting for women's rights and LGBTQ rights, and Artemis, noticed this, respected it, and basically offered the deal of, I will give you godly powers if you continue this fight and work hard on this fight. And so now she's just recently been reelected for her second term as a congresswoman for Arizona's 7th district, is what I decided. I went real hard into the research here, guys. I'm sorry.
And of course it's Phoenix, Arizona, right?
Yeah,
because you can't not.
I can't not. So she does a lot of lobbying for those rights, and on behalf of Artemis, and Artemis gives her cool stuff in exchange. I
know one of those things is your golden gun. I know that's a pretty cool thing.
Yes. One of those things is my golden gun, which is just, it's fun. It also grants me a power that allows me to basically hit whatever I want to shoot at whenever I want to shoot at it.
You don't even have to point the gun at it. You can point the gun away. It still works.
I can hit someone who's behind full cover.
Right?
Wow.
That's so. This game's gonna be great. This game's gonna be great, guys. It's
called unerring flight. It's gonna shoot you. But I also have a lot of healing powers as well. So and stuff like lie detection powers.
Nice. That's gonna be really, which is great when you're in Congress.
Right.
How do you even manage to stay in there if that's pinging off all the time? You're just like.
I only turn it's not on all the time.
Oh, okay, that's useful. Yeah.
I just turn it on when I want to be sure. Cool. I do have a lot of dots of empathy, which also helps me with figuring out if people are lying.
Nice. And so, like I said, before the chat, we do have a very political character here. If you're watching and you don't like politics, we're not going to get into it too deeply. This is character backstory, and if it comes up, it's going to be directly related with that character and just kind of that character's politics. So if you are interested in pursuing something like that in a scene, Jen, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But we're not doing this to engage politics with anybody. That's not the point of this stream.
No, I specifically went this direction because I wanted to be Artemis's Scion, and Artemis is all about those sorts of things. So it seemed like a natural background for her to have. But yeah, it's background. It's not part of the story necessarily unless it comes up.
You know what? For this story, definitively not for the most part. Although we'll see. This is going to go in some weird directions, and I think you're going to really like it.
The skills associated with it will come.
The lie detection is going to be through the roof. That's going to be just that's going to be great. I'm going to be lying to you constantly.
Which is great because I have no empathy.
And for those of you tuning in who aren't used to watching Dork Tales content, just so you know, a lot of times we tend to roleplay rather than dice roleplay a lot of our social interactions. So there are many times where I will be talking to the PCs as an NPC and will deliberately flub my lines or will deliberately provide misinformation, and it is up to them to figure that out. Acting, you know. That doesn't mean I know acting. You thought I was a competent NPC. Haha, acting. But of course, you can always use rolls to figure this out. So if I say something that contradicts, I might be making a mistake. If it's rules, much greater chance. If it's a story-based contradiction, odds are, ding, you were paying attention. Good job. So I'm really excited to see Phoebe White. I love the punny name so far. What is
mine's more subtle, but
what is Phoebe? Phoebe means
I can't remember exactly.
Isn't it virginal or something?
It's something like that.
Because you're basically virgin white, I think was the joke.
I think that is the joke, yeah.
And then we've got fortunate child of adventure, and then we've got I don't know what Ogimaa is.
No, we were punning mostly off winning.
Off of Gagner?
Yeah.
Sorry, God, yeah.
Rating for Bright.
What's that?
That's what I'm seeing for Phoebe.
Oh, Bright winner?
But also Phoebe was a epithet for Artemis.
Oh, that's right. Because that's the way that Greek mythology works. It's got the epithets and the cow-eyed Hera. That's all I can ever remember from class. Because that was always the example that the professor used. Cow-eyed Hera. And the wine dark sea.
Something here is saying that Phoebe the Titan was a grandmother of Apollo and Artemis as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep. There's another layer.
Yeah, Mike, what's up?
So, I knew we had picked Ogimaa for a reason, and that in combination with Gagner, basically means king winner.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. King winner,
or chief winner. It's like king, chief, leader.
Nice.
Chief winner.
Yeah, chief winner.
And that you work for a casino is just extra funny.
Yes. So that's where all the punniness came in from there. It's been a while since character creation. Some of this stuff was logged way back in here.
We originally were in talks to come and do this before it was a Christmas game. Like back right around March when 2020 started to really like heat up. And then this ended up getting backburned for a while. So we're coming back to characters we built in April. Which means that they're brand new characters, guys. It's gonna be great. And finally, I'm gonna pass the ball over to James. James, tell me about Aaron.
Hello. I'm going to be playing Aaron Faychild, who is the son of the Dagda, the Red Lord of great knowledge from Celtic mythology. So as a character, he's going to be kind of big, loud, friendly, salt of the earth, rich drink, rich food. Let's have some fun with it, and just kind of take the best part of life. As a person, he is a bit of a wanderer. He travels around. He's basically makes his life as a wandering food critic. He just walks into like fine barbecue joint with his kind of cameraman behind him and being like, let's do this. And
you're basically godly Guy Fieri, right?
Yeah, godly Guy Fieri. I haven't really watched much of Guy Fieri stuff.
Go watch Guy Fieri. He's so nice.
Oh, it was really good. Yeah,
he's amazing.
Yeah.
Or go watch Anthony Bourdain because like Saint Anthony.
That Anthony, I've been following up on more.
God, he was so good.
He was so good.
But anyway, that's who he is. He's going to be kind of a rich melt into every situation. He's social, but he's also mighty in his own way. I mean, he's probably not as like potent as the rest of you, but I've got this baseball bat, which I think I can send things damn near to orbit with. Like I can't really.
I'm gonna send you to meet my father.
Oh, it's gonna be like the baseball bat out of Smash Brothers.
Oh, really? I was thinking it was like the
Yeah.
baseball bat off of that episode of Homer at the Bat, the lightning bolt bat from The Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Are you kidding? The one. So Homer, like a tree gets struck by lightning, and Homer carves the branch into a baseball bat that can't lose. It's
Nice.
so good. It's so good. Okay, that's it. We're gonna pop on Disney Plus after this, and let's go watch that.
Which I was reminded, looking at my sheet, Mike, your piloting skill will come in handy because you can tell me what the hell I'm doing if we ever end up piloting, because I have pilot.
There you go. I can walk you through it because I am actually a licensed pilot in real life as well. So
It's true.
Well, and
we
remember
go.
that pilot also covers drive and all of those
That's
skills.
true.
And dog sleds, as we discovered in Rhyme of the Frost Maiden.
yes,
Oh,
we
nice.
did.
And I think we figured that regardless of the fact that my character does not fly as part of her job per se, like she's not piloting in her position in the military. However, she was also a military brat. Probably did something similar to Canadian cadets,
Probably, yeah.
in which you can learn to fly. So
Yeah, I didn't know that. Nice. All right, back to
Yeah,
James.
we
James,
applied.
what else about Aaron do we need to know? So he's a nice big dude. Travels, has like,
Right.
I think one of your birthrights is your followers, right? So you've got like the camera guy, camera crew that are like
Yeah,
these immortal cameramen following you around.
I've got the cameraman following me around, and I have friends everywhere. Like fans just kind of come out of the woodwork, and it's like, yeah, come on over, let's do some stuff. And so I'm good at opening doors. I'm good at like picking up on background stuff
Mhm.
as it's going on. Like I just have an intuition about how things work that I can use to kind of pull secrets out. And it's almost impossible to keep me away from anything. Like, I'm just looking at the kind of stuff I can do here, and it's like, if there's a place I want to go, I'm gonna get there,
Nice.
and you just can't stop me. But yeah, as a person, he's been left home at a pretty young age, but knew what he's doing. He's like, oh yeah, I just wanderlust, just go. He had a good family life, didn't have anything particularly concerning out there, other than dad kind of wandered onward pretty quickly. But after that, yeah, he's just been living it, loving it.
So the purpose of this game is that you guys are going to be brought together by a mythical event that is happening in O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. So you are all going to be traveling through on the holiday. I think game is going to start on the 22nd or 23rd of December, like in world. Which, of course, if you've ever been to O'Hare, is peak time. And by the way, we're using Mythic O'Hare because I've been to O'Hare Airport in about 5 years. And the last time I was there, it was still that weird retro future where all the equipment was way larger than it should have been and like had like these giant like mad scientist levers. Now it's all shiny. I sent you guys that 4K tour today, and I'm like, damn it. Oh, it was so ugly and beautiful. I miss it. So what I need to know is why you were traveling through Chicago. Why you are going through the terminal and probably have a layover or a transfer or something like that when you get nabbed over to enter the plot. So I think Christine and Jen, your characters probably have the easiest route, which is like, actually everybody but Mike has the easiest route because like you're traveling wherever, James. You're probably on your way to or from DC, Jen.
Yeah, probably from, because I'm probably heading like back to Arizona for Christmas time.
home for the holidays sort of thing.
And
right?
then that's the
Yeah.
same thing with Christine, because if you're stationed overseas at all, O'Hare is one of the hubs of the U.S. Like you fly through Dallas, O'Hare, Atlanta, LAX, or Seattle. Like those are the big ones.
Well, and this stuff you were saying this stuff is fairly well known in the world.
Yeah, decently
Like the
so.
double
Like
demigod
people believe in it. so one of the things they did with Scion second edition over first, the first edition was very much like the World of Darkness in a lot of ways, at least how I remember it, where it was like, oh yeah, these gods exist. Shh. The mists will erase things from your mind, and it's not really real. But in this one, they're like, well, let me give you an example, actually. What is everyone's legend rating? I think you all have Legend 1.
Should be 1.
Yes,
Yeah.
1.
Okay. Legend 1, remarkable. The Scion's deeds are spoken of among her cult and the neighborhoods. Her power begins to grow, but she's still barely capable of anything resembling true divinity. When that goes up to level 2, among your chosen people and select others, your name is often spoken of. By the time it hits 3, you are celebrated, your deeds are emulated, you develop an omen, cosmetic supernatural effects that mark you as a nascent divinity. Like a flock of ravens appears whenever you use your powers. You have like an aura, like a gold crown that appears. And then you start getting worshippers at that level. So that's not that far away from you, where people are going to be like, oh, that's the son of Zeus. You can tell because he looks like a Hemsworth. Prove me wrong on that one. But like seriously, like Chris Evans is definitely the son of Zeus. Yeah, good job, Chris Evans.
That story checks out.
I do miss that in first edition they had the American Pantheon though, where you could have like Bugs Bunny be your father. Yeah, they basically just rolled a bunch of trickster myths from the U.S. into like Coyote and a bunch of things like that, and they're like, yeah, it's just Bugs Bunny. He was called the Wascally Wabbit. You could also be a scion of Uncle Sam.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could be a scion of Uncle Sam.
That would be so great. We'll run a side game where Chris Evans is a scion of Uncle Sam. So things are known, like whether or not you believe that like Zeus and Hera actually exist, or that Bishamon actually can be prayed to and like basically answers your calls is one thing, but there is kind of an instinctive belief, kind of similarly to the way that like most of America kind of leans Christian, at least Christian in lip service, if not actual faith. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's like, well, I mean, there are a lot of studies about this that basically say that human beings are naturally either mono or polytheistic. Like, if you stub your toe, you will usually utter a curse. If you're studying for a test or worried about something, you will instinctively pray, even though you might not be religious. Type of arguments. Some interesting studies on this, but it kind of is just the next level where it's like if there's a thunderstorm, you're like, oh God, please Zeus, no, I don't have a surge protector. This is a brand new stereo, you know.
Oh man,
Zeus, stop!
Yeah,
Zeus, that has never stopped Zeus.
Because then it means like, okay, going home for the holidays. Hey mom, I got pulled into a quest. I'll see you when I see you.
Again?
I know, I'm sorry.
My favorite part about this book is that basically Scions are so well known, I was just reading this afternoon, that action movie rules for collateral damage apply to them. Such as if the cops show up and they're like, MacGruber, why are there 50 dead men here? And you're like, evil cultist Titan spawn tried to kill the president's daughter. See? It's true, she says. And all right, you get off this time, but you're gonna have to do some paperwork. Because they're like, it's way more trouble to arrest the son of Cuchulainn than it is to just like let him off with a warning. You know?
Besides the fact that they could probably just break out of the prison cell really easy.
Yeah.
Well, and the idea is that we are protecting mortals from the supernatural, right?
It's true.
Like that's,
yeah. We're the in between.
They recognize that.
So for the chat right now, Weird Trinity, you were just asking what the character breakdown is going to be. The character breakdown in order of boxes is going to be Christine is playing. So Christine is playing Machiko Ventura. Scion of Bishamon, who is a U.S. Marine who's home for the holidays. Aaron Faychild is a traveling food blogger like Guy Fieri or Anthony Bourdain, and a scion of the Dagda. Phoebe White is basically a Greek goddess AOC, who is just been elected to her second term in the House of Reps, home for the holidays. And Ogimaa Gagner is a Manitou scion of Tawaskara, and a casino mafioso. And yeah, this game is gonna be weird. I like it. It's gonna be good. Cool. So going forward from there, we've got everybody's character concepts. We've got everybody what they're going to be doing. Is there anything about the game that you guys want to run over or talk about since we're all here right now on the session 0?
I mean, there are several rules and stuff like that we should maybe kind of.
You want to dip into the crunch?
Maybe dip into the crunch a little bit.
Let's dip into the crunch. So for those of you joining us, this is our first time playing Scion 2nd. We're well versed in all like World of Darkness, Chronicles of Darkness, 1st and 2nd edition. Like we know our stuff with that, but Scion's a bit different. So we're gonna do our best. And there are some things that I do have questions about. So, Jen, you have done a fantastic job of doing research and figuring out the differences of the system right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a quick rundown of the things that I think they should know, but if there's anything that I miss or skip over, please interject and stop me, okay?
Sounds good.
So just our usual relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, guys, you may notice that on your character sheets, there are some things called approaches. So your approaches are the way that you were used to dealing with things. Those are like your force, your finesse, and resilience, okay? Each of you has a favored approach. You get more points in that, so it's probably the line, the row with the highest number of points in it, okay? When you are doing actions, what you can do is literally, it's not as set as a lot of World of Darkness or Chronicles of Darkness games. So I won't always say, hey, give me an intelligence computers roll to hack this mainframe. You pitch the roll to me. So you might go computers and I don't know, stamina, because you're pulling composure. Yeah, because you're doing it in a hurry. I don't care. That's not the point of this game. The point of the game isn't to get the exact right pool. It's to get the roll that feels right for your character.
It's why skills are first on the sheet now instead of attributes, because you actually start with the skill and then you move on to how you do it.
So you're always rolling against 8s, 9s, or 10s, like with Chronicles of Darkness. Your difficulty is the number of successes that you need to get to achieve your goal. 1 is basic, 5 or more is extreme. There are a number of things that also will help you get these, but we'll get into that in a minute. You can also, unlike you can't really do this in Chronicles of Darkness. You kind of can, but you can actually do multiple actions in a turn in this game by doing something called a mixed action. For example, the example that they give is like you want to cut down a Tengu warrior with your sword while composing a poem about your victory. What you do, you take the 2 pools, you roll the smaller pool, and use any of its successes across both actions. So say you have a dice pool of 8 to kick the Tengu's ass, and you have a dice pool of 4 to compose poetry. You roll the 4 dice, and you get 2 successes. You can go 1 and 1, you can go 2 and 0, etc. This game is also going to be really good because I know we've been dabbling in a lot of Chronicles of Darkness and the beat mechanic for taking dramatic failures. This game rewards you for failing, much like, say, Chronicles of Darkness or Powered by the Apocalypse. What you get is a complication. You get a consolation. So, for example, James, you are playing Aaron. Aaron tries to talk his way into a nightclub and gets rebuked by the bouncer inexplicably. Okay, so you get
ironic because I actually think he can't actually fail that.
Okay, well, okay.
I'm kidding. Okay, go for it.
So, but you might immediately notice that you're trying to get into a nightclub. One of the hostesses is outside, recognizes your character as she's smoking a cigarette around the fire escape.
All right.
And is like, oh, hey, do you want to come up and party with us? And boom, you get in that way. Basically, I will give you a consolation prize that makes the story slightly more complicated, but we don't slow down for anybody. Okay? This is not a game where I'm stymieing you. Your freaking Greek gods and mythological characters, you're gonna win. Or at least, you're gonna die dramatically. You're not gonna die because you got in a fender bender.
Perfect.
Okay?
Yeah. just from what you said about Powered by the Apocalypse, it actually is this weird mix between Powered by the Apocalypse and World of Darkness, because it's way more story driven than numbers driven.
Which I really like. I'm very excited about that. Complications are another good thing that you can do, which is sometimes you get a complication. Basically, complications are attached to tasks. So what they say is you're trying to climb a chain link fence that is tipped with barbed wire. So it has a complication that is, barbed wire. So they say that's complications are similar. They have their own difficulty range. So I could say, okay, you have a complication of 1 in the form of barbed wire. If you get more successes than you need, you can buy off complications. If not, I can like rip your clothing. I can slow you down enough for the dogs to catch up to you, etc. On the other hand, there are enhancements, which are like, you have to make a sniping shot, but you have a magic gun. So it's kind of a moot point, right? It gives you an enhancement. You're trying to win in a race, and your car is sentient and, is Knight Rider. I guess the car was Kit. Never mind. So you're the Knight Rider in that case. You're David Hasselhoff. Yeah. You can also help each other. So if you do help each other, what you can do is act as an enhancement for each other to a maximum of a 3-point enhancement, which is like 3 levels that you can use to buy off things, right? Like a lot of these systems that they're using in this game they sound like they're a lot more complex than they are when you break it down. But there are quite a few. And then scale. Jen, do you understand the way that scale works? Because that's what I've been wrapping my head around.
I mean, it's rough. I do have it mostly written out. And so from what I can tell is you can apply scale to like in terms of power differences, and so if you want to pit us against a Titan, that would be a much higher scale and would add a certain amount of difficulty to any roll.
But you can overcome this by spending legend, by getting exceptional successes and things like that, or exceptionally number of successes, which kind of reminds me of God of War, especially like the God of War 2016, where Kratos is fighting like up a giant and takes him out with an axe, and that's like, you can win, but you're gonna need to roll really well, Kratos, and luckily Kratos has jack dice.
Yeah. So
I'm really interested. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to ask if we had the scale tables. Scale tables is what I was going to ask about, and then sorry, James, you can go.
Yeah, this matters to me because I got a couple of things that affect scale. Like I've got scale changes on lifting, and I think 1 or 2 other things as well.
For that would.
Oh be... yeah, like when I smack the ground, I can create a shockwave, and it has scale, like it adds +3 to the scale of what I do.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I think I can just be like kaboom, right? Like
in the Google Doc I sent you, I do have a write up on shockwave specifically.
Lovely. Okay.
In the one that's under stats and combat rules.
And here is the thing that you all are going to like the most. We'll get that in one sec, actually. So just like with Chronicles of Darkness, there are conditions here. There are also fields, which are basically environmental tilts, right? So I could say like condition, Mike, Gagner's been electrocuted. So you are going to take some difficulties aiming this round because you're still kind of twitchy. Alternatively, you guys could be running through a field that's in the middle of a lightning storm. And I could say, hey, we have a field called Lightning Storm in play, which means that any of you wielding metal weapons might be at more danger. Your defense might be lowered because you're trying to dodge lightning blasts from a very angry god or an ex-girlfriend, which you can have ex-girlfriends throwing lightning at you in this, so just letting you know.
It's true.
But then we have something called threshold success. So, Christine, this is going to mostly apply to you, given your dice rolling history. If you need 3 successes to achieve a task, and you roll 27 successes...
a normal Christine roll.
Christine, we just did Extra Life over last weekend, and we ran Chuck Wendig's... Yeah, go away. We ran Chuck Wendig's blood drive module for it. A fantastic module. It's about to...
really, really, really captures it.
Yeah. Christine managed to get 26 successes? 23 successes against the antagonist of that, at which point
I murderated that vampire.
And she was using anti-vampire rounds. So it was just...
Are we sure she's not a Scion?
Fair,
Christine is a Scion, yeah.
I had firearms 5 and dexterity 4.
Your character was Goobs. Your character was Goobs.
Her defense really lowered my pool.
And the vampire was Gibbs.
I'm pretty sure I risked willpower on that one too.
So, but in this case, so Christine, you need 3 successes. You rolled 6. Okay.
That sounds legit.
Those 3 successes don't just vanish. You can spend them to do something called a stunt. So stunts have to do the following, and we'll give you a table for this. They have to link back to the success of your action. So they can't just be like, I spend a stunt point to have a plane fly overhead and distract them. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, unless you make it make sense. Narrate cleverly. They must affect a different skill or attribute combination than the one you used. So if you put somebody in a headlock with a ton of successes, you can't use like another brawl and strength roll with that, but you could, for example, throw them in front of a car, or you could intimidate them.
Weapon?
Yeah, you could use them as a ranged weapon. And they have to be narrated by you as to how they change the scene. So if you guys are trying to get into that nightclub that said that Aaron couldn't get in, and Christine punches the guy guarding the door, you could also choose that you're going to spend your stunt points to send him through the front door, thereby unlocking it.
Of course, that's obviously what this guy is for.
That's how you unlock doors.
That is how you unlock doors.
Isn't that how everybody does it?
Yeah.
And Weird Trinity,
just using a boot is kind of weak sauce.
Weird Trinity, you are absolutely right. Christine does belong in Exalted, but I can never let her play it. Christine, Exalted is a game where you sometimes have like 30, 40, 50 D10s.
That's the one. Oh, D10s.
Yes.
Well, I do have 50 D10s now.
It's the big white book on the shelf, if you ever want to look through it.
This is like old Shadowrun, but scarier.
Yeah, because you're a god and also an anime character. So you can also use complicated stunts to make things more complicated for others, or you can... Basically, there are 3 types of stunts. Stunts that make enhancements, stunts that make things complicated for other characters, or stuff that make things difficult for people to harm you. So, stunts are great. We're going to use the hell out of them. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Twists of Fate, which, Jen, you did research here. I was looking at Twists of Fate today, and they're my favorite part of this game.
They're super good, yeah.
But they say that things change when you get into the heroic level. And I was having trouble finding... Is it just legend that we're dealing with at that point?
Give me a sec just to go over this.
While you're looking that up, I'm going to talk about Twists of Fate real quick so that people know what I'm talking about. Twists of Fate are my favorite thing. You guys are in a story. You are mythological characters, whether or not your character thinks they are. So the way that it works is Twists of Fate are things that you can use to... You make a roll and you spend your successes to add or remove one detail from a scene that I have just introduced. Okay? So you walk into the S&M club. The music is pumping. The DJ is calling for people to enjoy themselves. And there are young women in bikinis walking around with trays of alcohol and drugs. Okay? The Yakuza boss at the back glares at you angrily. You can spend points to basically add or remove things. You can't delete things from the scene. You can't say, well, the Yakuza boss isn't there anymore. But you can say, that Yakuza boss is actually an old drinking buddy of mine. You can do that. You can also say that, yeah, there's a Yakuza boss there, but we're about to get raided by the police. And they kick in the door right now, and they're not going to come after me because, I don't know, you can figure that out. You can also add things... Yeah, wrong person, right? You can also add things to the scene, like the person you're looking for is right there. Now, of course, depending on how much narrative tomfoolery this creates, and whether or not it ruins the fun, you can't just be like, oh yes, the mystery artifact that we're looking for is literally on that coffee table. Yoink.
That's no fun.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
But you guys have, like, you can do stuff like, these are my favorite. Okay, I'm just going to read the ones out of the book. The Mook's gun runs out of bullets just as they point the gun at your head. Sirens are heard in the distance as the police arrive on the scene. The characters, you reveal you have a gun under the table and have been aiming it the whole time while the villain threatened you. You have a cache of passports just when the group needs to get out of the country, which is a gift from your parents' worshippers.
Where has this game been all my life?
The damaged car engine suddenly turns over, allowing you to escape. Reading the headline of a newspaper on a park bench reveals a clue that I have to provide to you. The drunk villains just rolled... The villains just rolled for petty cash is in on the scam with the player characters. And then you suddenly have an Ocean's 11 thing in reverse. Or the Wudang monk once lost a martial arts battle to the player characters and owes you a debt of honor just this once. So, like, this is the kind of stuff that we're... Yeah, actually, Soul Omen, you're right. The MacGuffin is immune to shenanigans, but things that will lead you to the MacGuffin are not, because that's fun. We're trying to make an action movie.
So
Excellent.
just double checking. Basically, all it's saying is that in Origin, which is the book that you use before you get visited by your divine parent, so it's just, you're just a mortal. You might have some weird quirks and can maybe do a power or two, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get visited, and then you become a hero, which is the second book.
Yeah.
And it is just the difference between legend points and the fact that when you're a hero, your twists of fate can be more supernatural.
Okay, they say that it's more limited, and that's probably because of fate binding.
Yes, fate binding is a fun thing. Also, fate binding helps you get your legend points back when you spend them. And since we only have one, and sometimes have to spend them, it's nice.
And my favorite thing about fate binding, guys, is that it creates relationships.
Yes.
Here's the deal. You can accept a fate binding in order to regain legend, and sometimes when you spend fate, it just happens, as far as I understand. Here's the way it works. They have a little table that says the strength of your fate binding. I think that's based off of how much legend you spend in the scene. So it's minimum 1, which lasts for 1 episode. At higher levels, it's like the current story arc, the current season, the series, or eternity. Or eternity plus new game mode. Okay? So, for example, who wants to be... I'll use Phoebe. So, Phoebe, you use a legend point in order to get a 1-up on a... I don't know, a particularly toxic lobbyist who's trying to build a sewage treatment plant on top of an orphanage.
Sure.
Okay, sure. You use a legend point to show him up in front of the cameras and gain a fate-bound person. This could be a number of things that we will quickly work out together. I might suggest something to you, like, okay, so Johnny Sewage Dump is his name. His parents named him very well. So Johnny Sewage Dump actually should be a rival to you from now on. He's going to try to destroy you for the rest of the episode.
Sure.
Alternatively, maybe I suggest that one of your entourage turns traitor because he offers her a lot of money to give blackmail material on you.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have a paramour. Maybe he falls in love with you, or maybe the director of the orphanage falls in love with you, and they, work together with you. You have a montage and wake up in their bed, right? Or share a chaste kiss under the moonlight as a thank you, right? Or, there are things like nemesis, canaries or martyrs, jinxes, where one of the kids starts following you around and keeps accidentally pulling levers, which of course drop people into sewage, and you know how it is.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, if the chat is fast enough, Robin, if we're kind of having trouble figuring out what we're going to do, I think the chat can offer some suggestions. We don't have to take them, but we're happy to hear them, right?
Yeah, totally.
Always, yeah.
So these are really great. They allow your character to figure a lot of cool stuff out and make drama, which we're here to tell drama and make stories. No, it's the other way around. We're here to make drama and tell stories. So Jen,
we should make
Yeah.
James,
I was gonna say just a quick little thing. We should talk to Mike about making movie posters for this.
That's true. Well, I need
that'd
those.
be fun.
I need those photos of you guys. So I need your. I've got Jen's, and I need your other character photos by Tuesday for our intro.
Yeah.
And so if you're joining us
I'll
for
try
the
and have
first,
that probably on Sunday.
Okay.
Because I have to play with a wig.
sounds good. So guys, if you're joining us for the first time right now, I'm noticing the chat's ballooned a little bit. We are doing a session 0 meet and greet for our Scion game, Heroes for the Holidays, which is a Yule-centric game that follows these 4 god children as they romp around the mythic America looking for a MacGuffin, which I will tell you more about when the game actually starts. This game's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be high action, and it's kind of starting to feel like a little bit like Big Trouble in Little China in tone, right? Like that kind of vibe. It's our first time playing Scion. We're all Chronicles of Darkness people. You can go check us out at twitch.tv/dorktales if you want to see our pedigree and look at some of our other games, so you know what you're getting into this. And we're kind of just going over like what to expect, the rules, and kind of a sense of things. Did I just hear 2? I don't know.
Oh, it's Rick and Morty quote.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh God. So yeah, and we're just kind of going over stuff right now. So we'd love for you to stick around and see us next Friday when we actually do it. And this game is going to be cosplayed and is going to be musically arranged and maybe even a little sound effect if I can. Actually, you know, with the new layout, I can absolutely get sound effects going. We can have punch sound effect guys. So yeah, hold on. I'm gonna get some punch sound effects going right now, actually, because I want to. Oh my God, this new computer is so good, guys. It's so good.
Like, I can't wait for my new computer.
I can't wait for your new computer. I can't wait for your new webcam.
Me too. I'm ordering one soon.
So here we got some fight grunts. Oh, so you guys won't be able to hear this directly, only the chat will. But for example, wait, I actually hit myself that time. Damn it. Sorry.
I heard that one. Whack.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, was that a sound effect or?
Ow, a little bit. Ow. Okay, or maybe conjuring, or an explosion. Everybody jump. It looks like we're gonna have to jump. So anyway, we're gonna have a lot of fun. You guys are gonna enjoy it. Ow.
That's what you get for punching yourself.
What do we say,
Yeah,
Kelly?
you're not
No
supposed to do it
stunts.
for
No more
real.
stunts.
No
Yeah.
more stunts. I have not ended up in the ER from a LARP stunt in a long time, Mr. James. That was an awful. Well, at least I read some of Game of Thrones. So
That was a long time ago, and we won't revisit that.
we won't revisit that. That was
There's
like
a reason we had rules.
Yeah.
we had them. Yeah.
Kelly is the reason we had rules.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So what else do they need to know, Jen? You are my
so
rules.
many things.
Oh God. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Teach me, Jen.
Okay, so the first thing is momentum. Momentum is our new willpower. Except it's a group
willpower, right?
It's a group pool.
Also known as the Black Pool in that one singular instance in the book.
Yeah. So basically, whenever all of us can gain momentum, and we can add it to the pool, and then we all have to agree if somebody wants to spend it. But you spend it on things like our knacks and fancy stuff like that.
So similar to like in Conan, right? Like because the momentum pool there, or
That's
the
very similar.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that though. You get up the energy going on, and you just start smashing through every obstacle.
Well, and
Yeah.
if you fail, I can give you momentum as a consolation.
Oh, okay, that picks us up. Okay.
For a lot of things, yeah. So you can spend momentum by adding dice. So you can spend 1 to add a single die to a dice pool before it's rolled. and it can be any player or even a storyteller character, but we have to all agree. And then you can also add an interval where you can spend 3 momentum to add another interval of time to a complex action. So you can give more time to work on something.
Like you're defusing a bomb and it's like 5, 4, 3. You're like, hell no, this 3 is going to be a long 3.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can also activate your knacks or some of your powers by doing it. You don't need another player say so to activate knacks, though. That's the only thing in spending momentum you don't need to ask for. You gain momentum by failing.
James, we need your powers.
Right? You gain it from
here to serve.
Consolation from a failed roll. Okay. If you fail a roll that you have a specialty in, a skill that you have a specialty in, you gain an extra momentum. If you botch a roll, they brought back botching.
Yep.
So if you roll 0 successes and at least 1 1, you botch, and you gain 2 momentum from that. And then there are certain knacks or relics or purviews that can additionally grant momentum depending on their write-ups.
And if I'm not mistaken, I can offer you a botch as well if you just flat fail.
Yes, you can offer us a dramatic failure.
Yeah, so just like in Chronicles of Darkness, which is my freaking... I actually was on a Chronicles of Darkness Facebook group the other day, and someone was complaining about that. They're like, who would actually do that? That's so counterintuitive. And I'm like literally everybody... Fun. Like, it makes the game more exciting because you don't always win.
Please mess up my character.
Yeah, I was like, oh, do you want to dramatically fail? Yes!
Yes, absolutely. Like,
you mean I'll earn basically experience for this? Sure.
Yeah, you're worst.
Well, and they were also complaining about conditions, too. They were saying that conditions weren't good because they made the game too modular. And I'm like, well, I mean, conditions do slow things down a tiny bit until you get used to them. But then they also give you a lot of really good guidelines for playing conditions that, lowercase conditions, that you generally would see people kind of shirking in previous editions. Like, you're afraid of me! Oh, I'm so afraid of you. I continue attacking him. Right? Instead, it's like, no, you literally have to get away. This condition doesn't go away until you run.
I like that, giving me lag rack because I got half my abdomen opened up by a vampire.
Yep. I mean, it makes sense, right? I like tilts. Yeah. I've been developing a bunch of stuff with my buddy Sam Young, who writes for Onyx Path from time to time, for Storyteller's Vault, and every time I'm writing stuff, I'm throwing new conditions at him. I'm like, okay, now we need a condition that makes computers explode. I'm not kidding. That was in Maquette Strange Shades. Or Strange Shades Maquette. It's a cool power unless you're a computer. But okay, so Jen, besides momentum and besides botches and stuff, what else?
Okay, defense. Defense works a lot differently than we're used to. Standard defense is 1. When you get attacked, you roll a defense pool. So you roll the highest of your resilience attributes. So it's the ones labeled as resilience, your bottom row. You roll your highest one there. Whatever it is, that's how you do defense. You either have the resolution or the stamina or the composure to deal with it. And then there are some defense stunts you can do, specific ones that you guys have in a Google Doc. Mm-hmm. If you want to go full defense, you roll double your defense pool. So you just double it, and then you use your full action. It takes your full action, but you go full defense. And so you can use the more successes you gain, you can do stunts and stuff like that.
Okay. So what happens if you're attacked by multiple people? Is it just do the same regardless, or?
I think it's the same regardless. I couldn't find anything.
All right. I'm gonna double check that. So keep going.
Yeah.
That's interesting. God, the art is so good.
Yeah, there's some stuff about ambushing and surprise as well, which is slightly different, but.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question about the defense thing.
Yeah.
So, it uses the same 8+ for a success.
Yeah.
Okay.
The number you roll on the dice only changes if some write-up you have tells you it changes to a 7, or
Okay.
you become a demigod.
Yeah, demigods roll for
Okay.
7s, and so do gods.
Um,
God, I remember what
but it
gods
just-
were like in first edition. That was great.
Oh,
I
God,
turned
yeah.
myself into a cloud that covers
Yep.
the entire world.
Yep.
Come at me, bro.
But yeah, so it's still 8, 9s, and 10s.
Okay,
those.
perfect.
I'm really curious what they're going to do with gods in this one because they were something else.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get the demigod book, so that'll be
Oh,
interesting.
that's true.
too.
Yeah, thank you for backing that, by the way, and letting me hop in on that. Because here's the deal:
Absolutely.
we're in Canada right now, and unless you combine shipping, you die. Which, hey James, thanks for joining me on that Deadlands post back
totally.
because otherwise my shipping would have been like ridiculous. Now it's like half ridiculous.
Half of ridiculous. Is
Half
better
ridiculous.
Than ridiculous.
Now it's just ridiculous.
Oh, well, like I backed
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
was made in Seattle the other day, and it cost them $50 to ship it. We're literally 30 kilometers north of the border, and it took like I paid $1 a kilometer or more.
If the border was open, you could have like just.
I could have
gone
just
down
knocked
there
on their door, taken a ferry down, and been like, "Excuse me, Mr. Dungeons and Dragons people that I backed at 2 a.m. when I should have been not spending my money." Because
my
this-
product, please.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like I back way too much stuff on Kickstarter. I became a power backer on Kickstarter, and I don't know how. My bank account knows how. I don't know how. Oh, I've got this great game that's coming soon, guys, that you're really gonna love. We should play it on the channel. You are the owners of a Chinese restaurant, like you're the family who runs a Chinese restaurant. So during the
Okay.
day you have to like make food and run a Chinese restaurant, and at night you have to fight hopping vampires that come out to kill you. Like it's a board
Okay,
game.
then.
Story checks out.
And
Yeah.
once we're allowed to be in the same room again, I have another game that I just backed that's where you're a bunch of roommates in like the kind of the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy style, where like you're living with like death, and you tell stories, and the mechanic isn't dice; it's a Jenga tower.
Oh jeez.
Like to do something,
Okay.
you have to remove a brick. So yeah, Zhengxi, yes, it looks so good. Everybody, the Kickstarter's over, but you can probably back it. Go check it out. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that while I'm broadcasting for Onyx Path, but it's really good. Actually, you know what? I think Rich Thomas backed it, so it's probably fine.
Well, there you go.
It's generally just a race to see how fast Rich Thomas or I can throw money at things.
Fair. Also under the kind of defense category is what they're calling complicate action. So if you want to like defend another character or defend an object or stop a character from operating machinery, you can declare that as part of a mixed action. And it's just basically you're blocking or stopping another person from performing a task while you also do something else. So you can actually be specific that way.
Okay, so here I'm looking at defense right now, and here's what
Yep.
I'm getting hit really and truly sucks. Thankfully, you've got other options. That's the text.
Yeah.
Someone's been punched before. It was me 5 minutes ago in the stream. My defense was 0. I think Dread does use the same Jenga mechanic. I haven't played that one, but it looks really cool. So they say, like you said, standard defense is 1. A character can defend to increase the difficulty an attack must overcome. In response to an attack, the player may reflexively roll the highest. So it says may, but what's the alternative? Like, I feel like there's a downside that I'm not seeing immediately.
It's probably like
Is it
if
that
you
you
want. I think you might have to like do.
Oh, you might only
defense
get
as
one
a
reflexive
mix.
a turn though.
Reflexive actions are something slightly weird. Hold on, I have that written down too.
Oh, thank you.
'Cause it
Thank you
was-
so much.
It was weird when I looked at it. So hold on, let me.
Yeah. Great game. We're not saying it's not great. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Reflexive actions. We want to make
'Cause
sure
you
that
can-
this runs smoothly for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
I gotta admit,
Why did I
I'm super excited to run this game.
There we go.
It's
Okay,
gonna be
so-
I'm super excited to play this character. So
Yeah. So in first edition, reflexive actions were unconscious. You didn't even realize you were doing them.
Hmm.
In second edition, reflexive actions are very quick. You can still do any number of reflexive
Okay.
actions in a turn within reason, but they require conscious thought.
Okay. So what? I just don't see. What
I think
the...
it might be the whole mixed actions thing, where if you're defending and doing something else, you you may reflexively roll to defend, but if you're doing something that you maybe don't want to do that for some reason,
Okay, but you cannot full defend and mix action according to this. So
yes,
you can do normal defenses. So yeah, I guess unless someone tells us otherwise, that's the way we're going to run it. I'm probably not going to have you ganged up by more than 2 people each at a time. I think we're probably going to be using kung fu rules. You know, where a guy like they all do like line dance until it's time to fight you one-on-one.
Fair enough, yeah.
But I'm going to be hitting you guys with big things too, because let's be honest, who doesn't want to fight a minotaur?
Yeah.
Like, we're here to fight minotaurs, damn it.
And then there's me chilling a mile away in a tall building or something with my rifle. Like, hey, Minotaur, what's going on? Did you like having a head? Glad it's gone.
Oh, no. That's okay. I'll just send ghosts at you.
That's okay.
Because you have a spirit rifle?
Yeah.
They have spirit bulletproof vests.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Ping, ping, ping. All right. Oh god, that would be so dumb. I've got to do it. I've got to do it now, guys.
Yeah, it's canon now.
It's canon. It's happened. It's official. Okay, so what else do we need to touch on tonight?
So a quick note about like ranges and distances, because they use a system called range bands, where you basically have like close, short, medium, long, and extreme. I think. Yeah.
And you can move from one to the other as a movement, usually, right?
Yeah, and movement is reflexive.
Yeah, and you can move your athletics plus strength or dex or something like that in feet per round normally.
Yeah, so weird thing about the character sheet versus the book is that the character sheet says movement dice. That is not a phrase that exists anywhere in the book. It tells you to calculate your movement dice as dex plus athletics.
Okay.
Which you'd think would be something like initiative or something, but it's not. What is it? In the book, dice. Yeah, in the book, when it talks about movement, it says you can use athletics and either dex or might to move, and to like overcome obstacles and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, because we don't have strength, we have might.
Yeah, so it's weird. The thing about range bands, though, is mostly to do with ranged weapons, because ranged weapons change their attributes depending on what range you're at, and depending
so like
what
a sniper
range
rifle isn't terribly good up close, right?
Yeah, but like if you're in, well, that's also the firing out of range stuff, so that adds difficulty to the roll. But if you're, say, firing a gun that works at extreme range, you're using your intellect to fire.
Okay.
Okay.
If you're shooting from something that belongs in the long range, you're using your cunning. If it's medium, which is like regular pistols and stuff, you're using either dex or cunning.
Okay. So I'm gonna. So
there's a couple of those.
If I run this by the seat of my pants a little bit, Jen, and you want to suggest one of those, like just chime in and be like, "Hey, the rules say this." Because guys, if you're tuning in for the first time and you don't know Dorktale's content, we're very story focused. We're less rules focused. Yeah. So, when in doubt, I'm going to bend the story. I'm going to bend the rules to fit the story and to keep us rolling, rather than to look up rules. But if Jen's got them right there, jump in and tell me, and I'll adjust on the fly.
And I'm not going to worry too much in the moment. It's just I'm mostly doing this so we have an idea going into it, so that the people in the chat who maybe know Scion better than us aren't calling us on stuff all the time.
That's true.
Yeah, the way I look at it is kind of like, think of when you're starting a new game and you get the difficulty selection and you go to easy because you'd rather get the story and the role playing first, and then worry about the rules and everything second.
I always jump into medium and then skip the tutorial because I'm an idiot.
I love playing on easy.
And then I die for 20 hours. And it's only when I'm streaming too. When I stream video games, it's what I always do, and then I always die. Or I click through the floor.
Quick question as well, actually. Looking through things for legend, difference between spending legend and imbuing legend.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes. So, imbuing legend means you're using your whatever points of legend you are imbuing for the length of time that you are doing the thing you are imbuing them for. So if you're using a knack, yeah. So if you're using a knack that says imbue 1 legend, once you stop using that knack, you get the legend point back.
Oh, okay. That's
okay.
really useful.
If you spend
Okay.
it, if it says spend 1 legend, that legend is gone until you either agree to a fate binding or perform a sacrifice.
Oh, and seeing as
Okay.
we only seeing as we're starting with 1 legend.
Yeah.
Maybe
okay,
you'll
we
end up with more
prob-
legend at the end of this little mini chronicle, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Possibly, yeah.
So maybe don't just jump straight into just spend legend right away.
Now
No.
there is, well, I mean, you do if you want to. Like you can,
yeah,
you'll
you can-
regenerate it if you do stuff.
You can go do sacrifices. Sacrifices are great.
Yeah.
Like it's literally sacrificing to your parent is what it is. There are minor and major ones, and it depends on your god. But
So one of the things that is very important that I don't think we touched on during character creation that I was just reading about today, because I was, of course, doing my last minute recram of the book, is your divine title. Because Scions of the heroic tier are supposed to have divine titles. And what these are basically like little short descriptions that, like, this is a bad example, but the mighty Thor, right? Or Hercules.
I have mine if you want mine.
Yeah, what's yours, Phoebe?
Advocate of relentless mercy.
Okay. So you need to come up with one. So one of the ones they have in the book is Master of Hounds was another one. Whenever you play into this, you get bonuses. And what they do is when you're looking at your callings, why don't we go through this? So Aaron's calling. What's his highest rated calling?
My highest rated calling. One that is numbered sheet.
Sure. So they have some examples of some words that you could use to come up with in the book. And I'd like it if we could come up with these today before we call it for the session 0. Or at least get some grease moving.
Yeah, I'm leader 1, sage 2, liminal 2.
Okay, so sage, some examples that they have are pupil, teacher, mentor, wise, riddle, puzzle, conundrum, clever, expert, academic, learned, liminal, traveler. There we go, done. You're going to take traveler probably. Or some synonym of that. Transition, alone, messenger, separation, outsider, guide, change, difference, driver, sailor, portal. So like Sinbad the legendary sailor would be.
I think I took the wise and inspirational guide.
Okay, that works. Christine and Mike, do you have one?
No, I don't think we covered it when.
Okay. So what is your
Creation.
highest rated callings? What are they?
Trickster for me.
Warrior.
So trickster and warrior. Okay. So trickster, transgression, subversive, antinomian, devil's advocate, cunning, liar, disguise, rascal, wit, chaos, criminal. So those are the trickster ones. You could totally be like, I mean, what would that be? The transgressing criminal of, or something like that. Like think about what you want to call yourself. That is that type of it's almost like a short definition of your character, right? Like the wily trickster of the wily trickster of fate, or the wily trickster of chance, or something like that. And then warrior, fighter, martial artist, bloody weapon, soldier, killer, murderer, insurgent, terrorist, sniper, undefeated, sharp, threatening. So that could be something like, you could choose something like the stalwart fighter of fortune. Is there something like that, right? So anything really works.
Okay.
Oh. So start thinking of some things, because that will apply. Chat, if you have any ideas, go ahead and throw them in. So get your brain churning on that. We don't have to do it tonight, because I know, Christine, you like to do research and like pull out the thesaurus.
I like to sit there with my lists and kind of combine them in multiple formats until I find one that sounds good.
And Mike, you'll figure yours out in the shower tomorrow morning.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah. So we won't need those until next session, but we've got those 2 right there that are pretty good. Is there anything else in the rules that we need to look over?
There is one last thing.
What is it?
It's marvels.
Oh yes.
Have you read up?
I have not, because I hadn't actually found them. So let's do it. Marvels.
Okay. Cool. So for those of you in the chat who aren't aware of most of the stats that we have, there are kind of three three kinds of, or I guess two kinds of powers that that we have. One are called knacks, and these are the things we can use a little more frequently.
That's
And
like
then the
super
other
strength,
one,
right?
yeah, yeah, like I
You said
have
like you didn't know.
I have a lie detector one.
Okay.
They're
I
usually
have
just
death by teacup.
they're either slightly supernatural or pretty supernatural versions of what our callings are, which are like James, you had liminal, and I have ones like judge and healer. And then there's these, they have purviews, which are also about boons, which are also about marvels. So those three kind of all go together.
And like a purview would be something like calling down lightning with your hammer type of thing, right?
Yeah, it's purview is basically what your parent god dabbles in. So I have things like hunter. Hunter is one, or I think Hunter is one of mine. Oh no, health is one of mine. Or metamorphosis as a Greek or Roman Scion. And there's ones like sky, or like get the lightning, stuff like that. These grant you boons, and as heroes with Legend 1, we only get 2 boons. And these are the super, super, supernatural ones. And they're the ones that you'll often have spend Legend to do, or imbue Legend to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they can, like my Unerring Flight, it's a boon. I have to imbue 1 Legend every time I do it, but I get the Legend point back when I stop, at least. And then it lets me shoot people through full cover. So, marvels are boons light. You don't generally have to. I think there are some rules around spending or like imbuing legend or spending legend for them, but they allow you to access purviews without having specific boons and do supernatural godlike things. Let me find where I put marvels here.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now on page 236 of the book.
Yeah. So you perform acts of divine power that shape, summon, or influence their purview through your motifs, and each pantheon has a specific motif, I think.
Yep. So for example, Jen, your character can beseech the Most High for these abilities. Mike, you can offer tobacco, prayers, dance, or a song to convince the unseen spirits to work their magic. Christine, you can... all things are kami. So literally you can just be like, all things have spirits. So you can call to those, or gods. And the... James, you are the...
Watha.
So you're the only one on the next page. Sorry. Magic flows from verse and satire, so song and making fun of things.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you can only use a marvel once per scene as a simple action, and you can't use it include it in your mixed actions. But you can do things like gain a blessing, where you imbue 1 legend to grant enhancement 2 on a single action, or ignore up to 3 points of complications,
or strike down an enemy.
Yep. You can spend legend to impose conditions on people.
Holy crap.
Or resolve conditions on yourself.
Or fake a boon.
Yep. You can fake boons.
So like you don't have access to this boon, well, you're going to borrow it from a god.
Yeah. You can magically create or summon an item that is symbolically tied to your purview, or simply declare that you find it or have had it all along by imbuing legend.
Oh my god, they have a category called Things Get Weird.
Yes, they do. Basically, marvels are what allow you to act like gods.
So it's basically it's basically just like it seems very similar to like Mage the Ascension in some ways, where you're just kind of like coincidental magic, but like not coincidental.
Yeah, it's similar to Mage that way. It's similar to Powered by the Apocalypse, where it's just like you just kind of do stuff.
And it specifically tells me on the previous page that when you guys want to do it, I'm supposed to just roll with it. If it doesn't break the game and it's fun, don't let the game grind to a halt while they try to figure out if they can do something. Just say yes and move on. So you guys have heard me say that in my tabletop games that I've ran on Dork Tales over at twitch.tv/dorktales and youtube.com/dorktales. Like and subscribe, smash the bell. but where I'm like, yeah, it works this time, right? Where I would much rather just say, yes, we're not going to make this a hard and fast house rule, but for now, it's cool enough that it happens.
Yeah.
It's cool. So these sound really cool, Jen. I like the idea of these marvels, and I can't believe I hadn't found them during my read-through already.
Right.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Sorry, one more thing that I forgot about as I'm flipping through my copious amounts of notes here. I might have hyper-focused for about 9 hours on Wednesday on this, and read both books almost back to front to back. Anyway, you remember, you guys who created the characters, when we created characters, we had to choose paths. And we had those like origin path, role path, and society or pantheon path. You can, first of all, you have connections gained through those paths, and I don't know if we ever did that through character creation.
I feel like
I
we
had
did.
to do my
I
own.
don't remember doing that.
Cool.
Oh.
I can tell you guys about it after the stream if you want, because that's more crunchy than I think we need right now.
That's fair.
But you can also invoke your path by using those connections to do stuff. So it's usually once per session. If you do it, you can do it more, but you risk like suspending or even revoking those connections. And then you basically add 2 dice to any roll that plausibly applies to your path experience.
Of course, I'm going to do this. Well, path isn't a calling, though, right?
No, path is it's the early part of the character creation where we were like, this is where you came from, this is what you are now, this is what you are in relation, and it
Because
gave
you've got
you
the
your
3
asset
paths,
skills.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
So each of those have connections that we have to define, and we
Yes.
can use those connections to add dice.
I believe we did do that because Christine, you were an army brat, and you have like your father's friend in the army, I think, or something like that. We were discussing it during character creation.
We might have discussed it, we might not have finished
okay.
it.
Okay.
I think we started the discussion on it.
Character
I
creation in this game
Remember
does take a
discussing
while.
it?
I've got some of it.
Well, we'll double check after the stream, and then we'll make sure we have it by
Yeah.
next Friday.
But yeah, so you can use those to add dice to pools and stuff.
Okay. Cool.
I
So
think that's everything I have.
fantastic. This book is it's complex, but the game feels like it's going to run really smoothly. I am very excited to be running this, and I'm very excited that we're going to be running this next Friday. And folks, tune in. It's going to be every Friday night at 8 p.m. There's no one after us, so the block is supposed to be about 2 hours. But if we run a little bit over, we're the last stream of the night. So I have been given permission by the powers that be to take an extra half hour if need be. I won't take an extra hour, but I can if I want to, apparently. Great. It's going to be interesting because I'm actually used to running games a little bit longer than that. But that's why I picked some of my favorite players, and we are going to have a really good time with you. If you have any questions about like what type of game this is going to be, or like how fun it's going to be, or anything like that, let us know in the chat right now. Or better yet, you can go ahead and find us on twitch.tv/dorktales, and you can find us on our Discord as well. Which, Amy, if you're in the chat right now, drop the Discord link because I don't have it. Boop. And besides that, I think you guys are going to really enjoy the game. And I will say that I apologize that it's very Christmas centric before Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving anyway. I know that's a sin, but it has to be
going right up till before Christmas. So.
that's the
Yeah.
point, right? So
Yeah.
we're running until the 18th, and
in 2020, no one is going to care right now. We all need something good in our lives, right?
That's
That is
true.
Like, I'm gonna start pulling out my Christmas decorations probably tomorrow to start decorating my desk space.
Yeah.
No one look
I
at my
love it.
background. No one look.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's great.
So
Yeah,
we're
it's
going to
perfect.
be running every Friday at 8 p.m. Starting next week, and we are going to run until the 18th of December. So that's 5 sessions. We opted to take Christmas off and end the stream on the 18th, but maybe if you ask nice, we can talk to
No,
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Christmas is my holiday.
That's true.
Halloween is yours. I enjoy
Halloween
it
is
too,
my
but
holiday.
Christmas is mine.
I'm the MF Pumpkin King, but
Yeah, I'm gonna be up island on Christmas night.
are you?
so-
Okay. All right. So, I think this is going to be really good. All I ask from you as players is to have fun, wear cool costumes, be ready to get in an adventure, and player conflict is great. I want you guys to play this game with a lot of yes but mindset, or a lot of let the other player shine as much as you.
Yeah.
I think that can be a problem that I've seen in other streams, is that sometimes people hog spotlight inadvertently, or maybe their dice pools let them hog spotlights by accident. So
basically, if somebody starts an action and they don't ask for help, then don't.
Yeah. Or, and if
Let
you do
them
ask
do
for
the
help,
roll.
assist. Don't try to take the action over. And besides that, it is a little harder, and I know that there is occasionally some crosstalk because we are doing this remotely, so there is like that half-second delay that makes it more difficult to do things. We saw it tonight quite a few times, but it's just a factor. So, but we're all good at that. We're great. We're wonderful. We do this all the time on Dork Tales. So, guys, I'm really excited for this.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
It will be good.
Is there anything else we should touch on, or is that pretty much it?
I think that's pretty
that's
much
about
it.
it.
I mean, yeah, all of our
used to us.
yeah,
I
all
had
of our
one
cool
character
character
thing
stuff.
to follow up on, but we can.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
follow up. What
I
is
just
it?
wanted to,
Yeah,
I wanted to get. I need a geese. I need some sort of binding that sits on me.
right.
Oh, a
So-
geese, you say? I know a geese.
No.
The
No,
No,
it
drain
says,
you need to
it
get-
says a
following me
goose
around.
sitting on his head.
Honk.
God,
Honk.
that episode of Masks was ridiculous.
I will cook it.
It will
Oh.
cook
Christmas
you.
dinner.
Okay, so what do you want?
I don't know. That's the thing. I have no idea what would be good for it. I was like have to like toss it up to chat and be like,
So,
hey,
chat,
guys
what do
wanna
you
come up
think
with
is
something?
his gaze should be? You must always tell the
Ooh.
truth about a meal. Oh, you must always be honest about hospitality.
Oh, that would be so. That would
Oh.
no. That would that. I think he largely would anyway.
I know, but I
yeah.
think that makes you like you're a good food critic, but you're a controversial one because you'll tell people when they suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you should take that. Not just a
I'll
meal.
do
Let's
that.
upgrade it to hospitality.
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
the Gordon Ramsay guy for
Yeah.
Fieri.
Yeah.
Look, it's not.
yeah.
But not in a yelly way, right? Like I'm just like, okay, here's how you could do it better, right?
Gordon
Like,
You just
Fieri.
this was
in a
terrible.
brutally honest way.
So Chris just or Diggy Blog just said can never turn down a meal or offer of drink. That's another one. That's the old Cuchulainn one, if I'm not mistaken,
Ooh.
because
I don't think I
Cuchulainn had
could
competing
anyway.
gases where he couldn't harm dogs and he couldn't turn down a meal, so his enemies fed him a dog.
I was gonna say
Oh yeah, that was the point.
there's a couple of examples in the book here. So they range from inability to pass up hospitality
Hmm.
or eat dog flesh to nonsensical rules one must follow to avoid mortally offending a fairy lord.
Must always
so
enter
it can be-
doorways in reverse and things like that.
Yeah, so it can be like weird stuff too. But I do like the hospitality one.
So yeah, maybe pick either the not refusing or must always be honest. And I think if you must be honest about it, you can't not say it.
Yeah.
Because a lie by omission is a lie in this case for the fairies.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
It creates more
it's
drama,
gonna
right?
It's gonna create drama, and I'm gonna get into trouble with it. That's cool. That's fine. Sure.
But you can pick up another one later where you have to take everything that's served to you. So then you not only can't turn it down, but then you have to complain about it.
Well, I think if I screw it up, like eventually, right? When I screw it up, right, then you hurt me with it, and then you come up with another one for me, and it can just be like, like it can be whatever. It can just come from like what someone says or what some NPC just says, right? Like anyone can lay it on me, and it just like click and that's
Damn it.
You must always wear the itchiest sweaters possible.
Oh,
That's evil.
wear
Yes.
corduroy pants inside
That's
out.
awful.
May your shoes or may your socks always be slightly moist.
Oh.
Oh,
That's not a gay.
no.
That's not a guess. That's a curse.
That is a curse.
That
yeah.
is a curse.
that's one of those ones I
Oh.
just probably just face check and be like, let's do it. Just
Just
Off in the dryer.
no.
dry socks. And now everyone's pissed.
Automod Kedkot Ijit? Oh, that's weird. Here, have this tea. It's poisoned. Yeah, well, Chris knows how to do this. All
Yeah.
right.
Actually, I think I'm pretty much immune to poison.
Oh, well, that's fine then.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Would you like? Here's what you can have. You can have the poison, or you can have Mountain Dew. Poison, please. Do you want Mountain Dew or crab juice? Ew, Mountain Dew. I'll have the crab juice. You want warm? Simpsons did it. Oh god, so many Simpsons jokes tonight. It's so good. So I think that's gonna be good. So take that as your guess. Does anybody else have anything they need to hammer down?
Not that I can
Just
think of right now.
the background stuff that we were all going to do off camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some of that more crunchy stuff, I think.
So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this introductory little session 0 where you get to do a meet and greet. Once again, I'm Kelly, the storyteller, joined by locationally Christine, James, Jen, and Mike. We are coming to Onyx Path over from twitch.tv/dorktales and youtube.com/dorktales. We'd love to see you over there if you want to come and see what other content we do. We do a lot of Chronicles of Darkness stuff, a lot of D&D, and a lot of weird systems and like side systems like Powered by the Apocalypse, and we're really kind of relaxed, lefty Pacific Northwest themed gaming group. We like to have a lot of fun. We'd love to have you over there, and we're really looking forward to doing this little mini chronicle for you and ushering in the holidays with a lot of fights with giants, leprechauns, and some really weird things that I thought up that some of the Onyx Path people were like, ooh, when I told them. Which, when they go, ooh, I know that I did a good job, so I'm pretty excited. It's going to be kind of weird, kind of funny, and hopefully a hell of a lot of fun. I guess you could say it's going to be epic. It's the one time I can use that word. I'm sorry. So any last words you want to say before we head out?
Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Yeah, join us
Yeah.
on Sunday for Werewolf.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Come,
Yeah.
Dark Tales.
And
I
Monday
don't
Check out
watch
for
that
Hunter.
Prime.
woos.
Hunter
Yeah.
is fantastic too.
come give us Hunter's fantastic if you go watch it on YouTube, and we're gonna have a season 2 someday soon. It's gonna be good,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
when Hunter the Vigil volume or version 2 comes out finally. Ooh, I
am excited for season 2 of Hunter.
Yeah, you just need to drag Krista back in, kicking and screaming from her job. So hey guys, go follow us and come check in with us on Werewolf on Sunday if you want. We're running Werewolf the Forsaken, where our all-female pack has just acquired what might be like a toddler werewolf, and it is, four
Terrifying.
Best
werewolves and a
decision.
baby. It's gonna be weird.
Oof.
It's gonna be fun, but
We already had a dog. We didn't need a baby too.
oh yeah,
We had several dogs. We didn't need a baby too.
it's true. So we will be back next Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific, which is 10 p.m. Eastern. 11 p.m.
Yep.
Eastern?
11 p.m. Eastern. It's 3 hours.
Oh, well, they had us at 10 p.m. Eastern tonight. I'm confused. We'll figure it out. So, we will see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.